Okay, so for our second season of this Connor McDavid and the ECHL stuff, again to recap, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get him to 162 points in one season to break the all-time ECHL scoring record. And the first time he ended up with 140 points in 69 games. So our two issues were, first of all, he didn't get enough points, but second of all, he also got hurt at some point, and he only missed, I think, 3 games of the season. But that's something that we need to avoid going forward. So the first thing that I did was I went into the editor, and one of the hidden stats is injury proneness or something like that. So I set that to 1, which is the minimum it can be set to. So he shouldn't get injured this season. And I also gave him a teammate. But first of all, I moved a lot of guys from the AHL down to the ECHL just to give them like a full roster. Um, and to illustrate that, like we've got a lot of sort of not that good, but like guys who would normally be in the AHL. We've got Chris Russell, first of all, who I don't think I even moved him. I think he was just in the ECHL by default. I don't think I touched that. But we've got Ostap Safin, who we had in our team before, but we've also got Josh Archibald, Ryan McLeod, this guy, Joe Gambardella, Tyler Benson, Seth Griffith, and I also moved Tyler Ennis down. So I said last time I was going to give McDavid an NHL caliber teammate, and it wasn't going to be Draisaitl, it wasn't going to be Nugent Hopkins or Yamamoto or any of those guys, but I gave him Tyler Ennis, whose attributes are not fantastic, but if you compare them to like a random uh, ECHL forward, you can see that he's much better um, than one of these guys. So I gave him Tyler Ennis, and they're playing. So now our first line in Wichita, I think they're running in Wichita a first line of like Ennis, McDavid, and Seth Griffith. So that gives them a little bit more to work with, and we'll see if that can get him that extra 22 points that he needs. So I found out, I guess there's some sort of veterans maximum rule in the ECHL where you can only have a certain number of veterans playing at the same time. And that's what this V means beside the players' names. It means they're a veteran. And I guess that's why at the beginning they weren't dressing Tyler Ennis for every game. Like Wichita has played I think 12 games total, and Ennis has only played 8 of them. So what I did was I called up I sent all of the veterans that didn't need to be there to the AHL. Like these guys, Dixon, Fally, uh, that name, which I'm not going to say, and DeSalvo. Those guys are all ECHL only guys. But people like Seth Griffith, like Chris Russell, and whatever all of the other guys, I sent them back up to the AHL so that we wouldn't have issues with, or at least we shouldn't have issues going forward with this veteran stuff. And it's now November the 9th. McDavid has got 22 points in 11 games, which, if you can do basic math, is 2 points per game. So he needs a little bit more than that, but he's on a decent pace so far. And Ennis is definitely helping out. He's got 13 points in the 8 games that he has managed to play thus far. And the Thunder are not yet in first in their division. They're being currently beaten out by Tulsa, who eliminated them from the playoffs last year. And in the overall standings, 750 is good enough. They've got 750 points percentage is good for second most in the league at this point in time. So we'll keep simming forward. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was after 20 or so games, the Edmonton Oilers are in fourth place in the Western Conference. So somehow the Oilers without Connor McDavid are doing okay for themselves at least so far. Around this point last year, they were in eighth place or so. Now they're in fourth, and I put myself on vacation during the off season, so I just let the AI assistant general manager do whatever it wanted. It signed some depth guys. I think it signed Andrew Kopp or somebody in there. Young players like I guess Lavoie and Yamamoto, Puljujarvi, people like that have had an extra year, but I'm surprised to see them as high in the standings as they are. But that's not what we're paying attention to, so I'm going to keep going and see how the ECHL guys do. So yeah, the problem is at this point, it seems that the rule is you have to have um, no more than 4 veterans um, in your lineup at the same time. So Ennis, we've got 22 games played. Ennis has only played in half of them. Now this is still a benefit because Ennis is scoring a goal a game and 18 points in 11 games. But there's nothing I can do about these four veterans that are ECHL only. I can't touch them. And I need to have Ennis and McDavid here. So we have six veterans, so Ennis isn't going to be in the lineup all the time. They are addressing Connor McDavid, except for the one game that he missed for some reason. They are putting McDavid in the lineup every night. But Ennis only gets in sometimes. So there's nothing really I can do about that. We just keep going forward. But McDavid is on a better pace than he was this time last season. He's got 46 points in 21 games, which puts him on a trajectory for almost exactly 2.19, which is still short of the 2.25 that he needs, but it's definitely an improvement over what he had at this point last season. Okay, so it's a little while later. It's December the 12th, 2021. McDavid is on a 2.10 pace right now. But the problem is, the Wichita Thunder are just not putting Tyler Ennis in the lineup. And I sent him to the ECHL specifically so we could give McDavid help, and he's not giving him help if he's not in the lineup. So what I realized is I need to send someone to the ECHL who does not constitute a veteran. And I looked it up. The definition of a veteran, as far as the ECHL goes, is someone who, before the start of that season, has played 260 or more games of professional hockey, not just the NHL, but any level of professional hockey. So what I realized I need to do is I need to find a forward who is about as good as Tyler Ennis and put him there instead, so they don't contribute to the problem we have where there are too many veterans on the team and they can't all get in the lineup. So I have Raphael Lavoie here, who is 21 with a lot of potential. He's got 5-star potential according to the thing, but right now, um, he's not really better than Tyler Ennis. Probably at this point he's a bit worse. But I think if I send him down to the ACHL, first of all, it'll be easy. I can do that without making him clear waivers because he is still 21. And this is his first NHL season, I think, and he definitely does not constitute a veteran. So I can send him down. I'm going to bring Ennis back up to the NHL, and I'm going to keep Lavoie down in the ECHL, and hopefully Lavoie should be able to play in every game and we can actually make this concept of giving him a guy, giving McDavid a guy to help. We can make this concept actually work. I just wanted to quickly show you guys this game. I haven't been paying all that close attention to each individual game, but here Wichita beat Tulsa 9-1, and McDavid had 7 points. Now, again, I've only been periodically checking each individual game, but 7 points is the most I've seen him have so far. Okay, so it's January the 10th, 2022. We're in the new year, and I wanted to give a quick update. First of all, the NHL standings. Edmonton is not in the playoff spot anymore, which is a bit sad, but they are only 6 points out, which I think is better than what they were doing this time last year. But they're below 500. But okay, here's what we care about. We care about Connor McDavid, who, with a quick check, he's got 82 points in 39 games. Which brings him to about 2.10, which again is a bit below where he needs to be, but it's an improvement over where he was last year, I think. And if we take a quick check at the progress of Raphael Lavoie, who's not a veteran, he doesn't have the V beside his name, gets to play in the lineup every night. He's doing slightly worse than Ennis was. I think Ennis had 18 points in 11 games. Lavoie has 16 points in 11 games. They're performing similarly in the ECHL, so it shouldn't be too big a difference which guy we have there. And I haven't checked this in a while. The ECHL standings, Wichita's running away with their division. They've got games in hand, or the other teams have games in hand, but they're also running away with their division, and they're also best team in the league by quite a fair bit. So that's just a quick update. I'm going to keep the sim going. So McDavid has now crossed the 100-point threshold, and he's done it in 48 games. And I went back and checked, and last season he did it in 47 games, which is a bit curious, but I mean, we'll see how this develops going forward. But he is currently behind the pace that he was at last season, which is behind the pace that he needs to be at. However, I did notice he has a higher AVR than he did last time. Last time he was at like 8.5 something when he reached 100 points, and now he's over 9. Which I suppose has to do with the fact that he's got an NHL quality teammate. Also, whereas last time the goals and assists total were about balanced, this time he has more assists than he does goals. So maybe he can go for the assists record. We'll see. Okay, so here's how you can tell I didn't plan this very well. What I forgot is that 2022 is an Olympic year. So Connor McDavid's been selected to Team Canada, and because you generally assume that people from the ECHL are not going to get selected to the Olympics, there's no break in the schedule here, so he is going to miss these 4 games. So I'm not sure how exactly we're going to deal with that, but McDavid isn't going to play, presumably, in these 4 games here. So that's kind of an issue. Okay, so Wichita clinched a playoff spot. Um, McDavid actually did manage to play in this game on the 28th. He got 1 point here, and he got 4 big points in this game here. So his current total, if we go back, where is he here? 117 in 55. So he's on a 2.21, sorry, 2.13-ish pace. So Wichita just beat Rapid City 10-1, and imagine my surprise when I go to look at the box score and see that Connor McDavid had a flat 0 points. Come on. Okay, so we've reached the end of the ECHL season. Connor McDavid finished with 144 points in 68 games. Now there's 72 games total for each team in an ECHL season, so we missed 4 games. But in those 4 games, to break the record, he would need 22 points, or 4.5 points in each. So that's probably not going to happen. I mean, realistically, that's not going to happen. As for the assists record, he is actually only 5 off of tying the assists record and 6 off of breaking it. So what I'm going to do is, because he missed 4 games because of the Olympic break or something like that, um, I'm going to use, because Wichita made the playoffs, of course, I'm going to use his first 4 playoff games and take the assist total from that game and add it on to his regular season total to see if he, with a full season would break the record, break the assist record total. But the points total, it's better than it was last season, given that he had a teammate, but it didn't improve by that much, which is interesting. So we'll take note of that going forward. But now I'm going to sim the playoffs. Okay, so Wichita's first playoff series is over. They swept Tulsa in 4 games. And so, because McDavid missed 4 games of the regular season, we're going to take his 4 playoff games from the first round and add them to his regular season total, which leaves him with 61 goals, which is, I think, a fair bit off of the record for that. But his yeah, the record for most goals is 85. His assist total is 89, which is 4 off of the total by, who was it? What's the name? Dan Gauthier for Knoxville in 1990-1991, and his final point total is 150, which again is not enough to break any of the records, but it is better than what we got last season. And the next step is to see if he can break some single playoffs ECHL record. So just quickly taking a look at this. So the most goals in one playoff year is 17. The most assists in one playoff year is 29. And the one we care about probably the most points in one playoff year is 38 by Wayne Simpson for South Carolina in 2015. So 38 is the target amount of points, and hopefully Wichita can go all the way to the finals and win whatever the ECHL trophy is called. So I think that's going to be it for this video, and then next time we're going to sim the rest of the playoffs and then see what we do for next season to make him eclipse that 161 mark.